Rica is making waves when it comes to ocean conservation. We have a very special guest today, Ambassador of Costa Rica, Ambassador Maritza. How are you today?
I'm fine, how are you?
Thank you for joining us. Costa Rica is making waves, when it comes to ocean and climate. So recently in 2021, Costa Rica announced that they are going to expand Coco Island National Park 27 times than before. Also during the UN Ocean Conference that happened recently in Portugal, Costa Rican president joined with the French president to bid to host the Ocean Conference in 2025. So when it comes to all these great decisions that Costa Rica making to save our climate, how you think that Costa Rica is being an example around the world?
Thank you for that question. In fact, yes, in Portugal, Costa Rica announced its intention to co-host with France the next ocean conference. We will have the preparatory meeting in Costa Rica and the conference per se will be in France. It is true in 2021 Costa Rica announced that it was going to expand its protected ocean area from 2.7% to more than 30% of its territorial waters. This is the biggest leap that any country, at least in Central America, has done, and it puts us 9 years ahead of the goal to protect 30% of our oceans by 2030. Costa Rica has led by example throughout its life. In the 19th century, we started protecting our forest. We are the first country in the world to revert reforestation, and now we are aiming to cover even more areas. So we take conservation seriously. It's part of our DNA, it's a state policy, and it comes with every single one. We do not waste resources. We are very moderate and considerate, and we think that in spite of the small territory of my country, we can make a difference and lead by example. Conservation is doable. The only thing you need is political will.
Also, there's no surprise that the young people and students will inherit our planet. They are the future of our world, and when it comes to ocean health, how Costa Rica and yourself are reaching out to those young people and the students and raising awareness for climate action and ocean health.
This is the largest generation of youth in human history. There has never been a number of young women and men at this stage in a moment that we're facing multiple crises. For them, the future is now. So basically, they are the ones reaching out to us for action. They are the ones saying that we need to make the necessary changes now because they might not have a tomorrow. I admire their conviction, dedication, and absolute commitment to the causes. The Costa Rican leaders in climate change, many of them are women. Many of them are Afro-descendants or indigenous women. That tells me that climate action is also inclusive, and it has to represent every single one of us. So it's not that we reach out to them, it's that they reach out to us and demand actions, demand that we raise our voices and raise the level of ambition, because without that, we are compromising their future, and we cannot allow that.
You are the first Costa Rican female to be in that position, to be the ambassador at the United Nations. What do you think that us around the world, women, can learn from Costa Rican female and also the indigenous female when it comes to protecting Mother Earth?
Well, women are half of the world's population. Let's start by stating that. We are half of the world's population, and every corner of the world. If there is no inclusion, there's no peace, there's no development, and there's no prosperity. So if we do not make sure that our indigenous women, our Afro-descendant women, our women with disabilities have a seat at the table where decisions are made, we're failing as a nation, because we are as strong as our weakest link. If we do not have those voices on our table, if we don't hear and heed their voices, our job is incomplete. Not only in climate action, but also in sustainable development, women's empowerment, and even international peace and security. The voices of women and girls, the voices of indigenous women and Afro-descendants and people with disability are crucial. Without inclusiveness, there cannot be any peace nor development, and we are very aware of that.
What do you think right now that there is extreme weather condition and everywhere there is flood, there is fire? What do you think the biggest threat now to ocean health now and in the future?
Yes, we are facing multiple crises. We are facing a climate crisis, a biodiversity crisis, and a pollution crisis. And guess what? The ocean is the reception point of all of these. Climate change has caused impacts in the ocean, and oceans are warmer and corals are destroyed. The storms are becoming more and more devastating everywhere. If we do not take action now, by 2030, we'll see a worsening of these situations, and coastal areas, small island developing states, countries that have not contributed to climate change will be hit the hardest. And that is the reason why small countries need to speak up so others that have affected or contributed to climate change assume their responsibility and change their modes of production, consumption. Otherwise, we will not have a better planet, and there is no planet B.
Recently, Costa Rica signed a treaty for NPT and also comprehensive nuclear test ban. And what is the role of Costa Rica to convince other member states? And will this move of signing the historic treaty influence other member states to do the same? Does Costa Rica feel unsafe by not being a nuclear power state?
Not at all. As I said before, we don't even have an army. Since 1949, Costa Rica abolished its army in order to increase its strength. We don't have, not a single Costa Rican woman is worried about their children going to the army. We are investing those resources in education, in making sure that is free and mandatory for everyone. And 62% of those who attend our national university have a scholarship. So education is our weapon. International law is our weapon. And we are not, and we defend, whenever we have a crisis, we go to the respective court, be it the Inter-American Court of Justice, be it the ICJ or the ICC. The law is our weapon. So we do not feel unsafe because we don't have the weapons that will trigger violence and thus create more insecurity for all.
What will be the message from Costa Rica around the world in abolishing nuclear weapons?
I would start by saying that there's no security in those weapons. That we need to look at having nuclear weapons as a violation of the human right to life. That we have focused on hard security instead of human security. That we have paid much attention to the power that comes from having those weapons and not consider the danger that those weapons have by accident, miscalculation, or a cyber attack. And this is something that we really need to think of. And citizens around the world should lobby and ask for abolition of nuclear weapons. Why? All of those resources can help overcome the obstacles to development, to empowerment, to safety and security, but in a broader sense. Weapons do not bring security. To the contrary, they put us in the eye of the storm.
It's amazing talking to you, Her Excellency Maritza Chen. Thank you so much, and I'm Nishat Mirza from Turkish Journal.